Hello, friend. Welcome back to the You're Too Sensitive podcast with one of your most sensitive friends, Jade Beal. I am so happy you're here. Thank you. Thank you for gifting me the gift of your time, for your patience, for your attention span. I personally really love long podcasts, and so that's why I like to make these on the longer side. I feel like if I'm going to commit to a podcast, like, give me some substance, And so if you're listening to this whole thing, then I know you're like me and you like to be with something for about an hour. And thank you for that. I really feel like, especially in this day and age, when we give our attention in this way, it is also a bit of a spiritual practice. This week, I want to continue talking about self-love because, as I thought, I was going to miss a lot of nuance last week, and I did. And to be honest, we could talk about this for 10 years and probably still find more nuance. So what am I trying to say? Well, the self-love journey is an expanding, constantly evolving, constantly shifting practice. For me, it's a spiritual practice. But mostly what I desire to come across in these podcasts, and it kind of interweaves in all of what I say, because this is my work. Self-love is definitely the undertone of all of the work that I do on earth. And one of the main things I wish to share that took me so long to understand, and I think that might be why I'm so passionate to share it, is that this idea that self-love is going to just take away the pain of life. That it's going to solve and make us just happy every single day. And I feel like we're sold that in spirituality, in the new age, but also I feel in just very mainstream religions too. I feel like they have this solution that they want to sell you. X, Y, and Z equals happiness forever. And I feel like a lot of those practices are ones of disembodiment, not intentionally, but it's like this, it's abandoning the body, abandoning the humanness to get to ascension. Instead of what for me is self-love is sinking into the body. Coming into the body, leaning into the pain and into the discomfort, and finding the treasures there. Instead of wishing and hoping and trying to always be happy and always like how I look and always like how I behave and always like how I feel, instead I want to get curious and be with what is, even if I don't like it. What if, in fact, not liking it was the point? So that's what I desire to share. Continue to share. Because to be honest, I'm still learning how to talk about these things. I know how this works in my body, but using the English language to convey this is something I am still actively working on. And to be honest, this podcast is part of that exploration for me. I want to figure out how to articulate these things. I could give you a hug and explain it better, in my opinion, than using all these words, but I'm also really grateful to have all these words, because words are like little seeds that we can either take or leave. This is very important. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Take or leave. The ones that you do want to take, plant them in your precious little mind garden and let them blossom and see where it takes you. So that is the intention of this podcast today, is continued. How do we love ourselves even when we don't like ourselves? Continued. And so I'm going to invite you to put your feet on the earth, or if you have shoes on, just put all full soles of your feet onto the ground beneath you. I want you to raise your shoulders up to your ears. Inhale. Bring your shoulders back. Close, squeeze your shoulder blades together as you exhale. And let's do that again. Inhale, bring your shoulders up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open your heart. Exhale. And then let your shoulders come down. One more time. Inhale, shoulders come up. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. I invite you to your breath because a lot of times we get very in our minds about this. And in my experience, healing comes in the body. To understand things is beautiful, but we must experience them also in our body. We must learn how to let go in our body. The body is a fantastic wisdom keeper, y'all. This precious body, that one that you have right there, the one with the beating heart and the breathing lungs, that one right there, that is evolution's precious creation, constantly shifting. And it might come with a lot of pain and sorrow, anxiety, and that is a masterpiece right there. So I feel like I did a very poor job of explaining how do we love these bodies when we don't like. Okay. First of all, learning how, not even learning because it's already there. We don't need to learn it. It's more like remembering how to love these cute little meat sacks that are so complex with feelings and pain in a modern context of social living, meaning we live in a way that our ancestors did, that the vast majority of our ancestors did not. And so often I feel like I hear people say, and I used to hear myself say, why is life so hard for me? And this is another reason I want to start this podcast. It's like, you're too sensitive. Like I've been told my whole life, you're too sensitive, you're too fat, I always feel like I don't quite fit here. What is wrong with me? Until I flipped that question around, I was like, wait a minute, actually, what if there's actually nothing wrong with me, but this social construct isn't conducive to my particular makeup, my particular nervous system, my particular emotional system, my particular desire for what this body wishes to do, which is to be in nature, walking, swimming. Instead of like, what's wrong with me? Why do I have so much anxiety? Instead, it's the question is, isn't it bizarre that we expect these bodies to function in kind of a very unwell social construct? Now, I understand some people do very good with the 9-to-5 and the hustle. Some people absolutely nail that. I, for one, do not. And forever, I criticize myself, like, what's wrong with you? Why is this so hard for you? Rather than, of course, this is hard for me. There's a famous quote from Jiddu Krishnamurti saying, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." I want to read that again. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Now, for me, this very much tracks. I see so many people wondering why, what's wrong with me? Why do I have ADHD? Why do I have all of these conditions that need treatment in order for me to live in a life according to what we need to do to just do the basics like paying our bills, y'all. In order to live, quote unquote, normal for me would require a lot of medication. That is why I do not live normal. And I do pay a price. It has a different price. But I am grateful that the price is not, and again, this is not a judgment for my beloveds who are taking medication in order to function in this pace, the way things are done in order to just do basics like have a job or a career. I am not judging you, my loves. Please hear me. This is just for me personally. I don't want to be on medication. I don't want It feels very unsafe for me to have to always to rely on something outside of myself. I think that's just my personal way of being. I work hard so I don't have to rely on other things. But what did that mean? That mean I had to do some deep dive and be like, this pace, this success I'm maintaining, there's going to be a price. And that price is medication. That price is not feeling well. That price is depression and anxiety that I'm going to have to medicate. Me personally. This is just me personally. Now, I did have to change my life. And to be honest, I'm constantly deepening my practice for regulation. I always could use more meditation. I always could deepen my practices of regulation. And I still, even though I've cut back tons of work and I've cut back so much that I basically do nothing except I do a few clients and I take care of my son just enough so I can pay the bills, because my main priority is having enough energy so that I can cook good meals for my boy, and so that I can be present and laugh with my boy, and that I can be with my boy before he's 18, which is going to be like tomorrow. So all that to say, when we think, what's wrong with me? Instead, let's think, oh my goodness, yeah, of course I need a lot of help. Of course I need these medications. Of course I have ADHD. Of course I have anxiety. So many of us are living in a way that has to, and again, I'm not speaking for you. I'm just going to speak for myself. For me, the way I was successful like 10 years ago required me to abandon my soul, required me to hustle and not listen to my exhaustion, required me to figure out how to live a life that I don't like living in cities. I never have since I was little. And yet here I still am, but now I live out in nature, like at the fringe of the city, which, yay, hallelujah. But before just this last year, I lived downtown Tucson, which, is still a pretty chill city, but it is a city which for my particular nervous system is no good. But there I was doing it because it was convenient and it was the hustle. And even just talking about that, my body starts to feel a little tight. So what am I trying to say? Every time we want to ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? Why am I so tired? Especially if you're a woman in her 40s, like I am, we are going through transformation, my loves. But I feel like so are men in their 40s. And maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's not exactly the 40s, maybe it'll be your 50s or something, but there's massive transformation. I know for me personally, once I no longer had a uterus from my hysterectomy and coming into my 40s and then readjusting my life to where I am not the success I was 10 years ago, and I am working the bare minimum in order to keep the bills paid and food in my fridge for my precious baby boy and myself. And in order to do that, I must look like a failure to the outside world. Just like, in order to be kind to myself in this season of my life, I'm not saying that it's going to be this way forever, but in this season of my life, kindness looks like being fat to me right now. It doesn't, my fat body does not look like a success to the outside world, but over here, she's the healthiest, strongest she's ever been. And definitely the most loved, even in her fattest state that she's ever been, which is now, she's the most loved by me. How did I get here? Well, having to make radical transformation, but it really started with realizing that I just want to be happy. I just want to like myself all the time. I just want to look in the mirror and feel beautiful all the time wasn't working. I could say all the affirmations and all the positive things, which are great. I love positive affirmations. Heck yes. Bring the positive affirmations. Weave in the gratitude relentlessly, because we are wired for negativity bias, my loves. So we get to weave in the gratitude, weave in the high vibe affirmations. Yes, yes, yes. And there are dark nights of the soul. There are hard days. That was my dog, just FYI. There are hard days, there are dark days, there are grief days, there are changes that we didn't anticipate. There's anxiety. There's the price it takes for some of us to live in this quote unquote normal 9-to-5 hustle. If we do our positive affirmations and if we're always focused on only wanting to feel good, and if we feel any other version other than good, we perceive that as bad or failed or what's wrong with me or I need to fix myself. That's the conundrum I feel like with this only positive focused sort of healing. Absolutely, we get to over and over and over again, my loves, weave in the gratitude on the hardest of days and weave in those positive affirmations as a spiritual practice, non-stop. And life is hard. Life is uncomfortable. In fact, I believe the spiritual practice is learning how to feel comfortable in the discomfort that life is. Another way I could say that is learning how to feel safe in the discomfort that so many of us experience. Why? Because when we can regulate our nervous system, there's science behind this. I can't articulate it because I understand it, but articulating it is a whole different thing for me. But let me say it like this. Our nervous system is a binary cutie patootie. She only knows, am I safe or am I dying? If we are constantly uncomfortable, which I don't know, I kind of always am a little bit uncomfortable. I have like low-key discomfort, as my son would say, low-key. And then there's like hierarchy. But there's always some discomfort. Now, if I met that discomfort with what's wrong with me, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Oh, I need to fix this. My nervous system, who, like I just said, is a binary cutie patootie, she only knows, am I dying or am I safe? That's going to become a chronic story, a chronic pattern in my body that something's wrong, predator, chronic dysregulation. Instead of, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm safe. That is a different practice. That is a practice of like, this is really uncomfortable and there's nothing wrong. And then my nervous system knows, okay, it's not a predator. We're just uncomfortable, but we're safe. Rather than, I'm uncomfortable, what's wrong? Oh my God, maybe I have cancer. Maybe I'm dying. I got to spiral. And the nervous system goes along with this completely dysregulated, which shuts down different systems in our bodies and creates chronic illness. This is mind body medicine. So how can we continue to practice? Like me, when I have these anxiety attacks that feel like heart attacks, it's taken a long time, and still, it's still hard for me sometimes because I'm still like, is this it? Am I really dying? And what I do now is like surrender of. Sorry, I'm closing a drawer there. That's kind of loud. I surrender to. I'm actually not afraid of death, so there's that. That's very regulating, I feel like. And this is a really intense sensation in my body. I don't like it, and I'm safe. And I do my breath work. I try to figure out what might help move it through. Usually when it's those kind of anxiety attacks, it's deep, slow breaths for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then afterwards, I might need to do some like tongue out and shaking my body, and usually a good cry will follow. So in my experience of being human, self-love is, more than anything, a learning how to feel safe and regulated in the hardest of days, in the most painful of moments. It is learning how to have a ritual to allow repressed emotion out of my body. It is learning how to release my perfectionist ways. Even in my healing, I want to do it perfectly. Really, this embracing of ugly. I feel, at least for me, that has been truly the biggest part, because I feel like I lived most of my life so terrified of being ugly, and not just looking ugly, like being being experienced as ugly, instead of tenderly holding, okay, well, what is this ugly that I'm so afraid of others experiencing, or that I'm so afraid of seeing in the mirror? Come here, precious ugly. Come here. Because that's the difference. If we're so afraid of seeing the ugly and rejecting it, and most of the time it is unconscious rejection. Let's be very honest here. It's not like we're like consciously like, oh, I'm rejecting that. No, it's just much easier we all want to be good people, especially like if you're listening to this, you're probably a deep feeler just like me, and everything we do is in the hopes of being good. We want to help people. We want to make this world a better place. And my loves, we're also human. We're gonna do stupid ass shenanigans. We're gonna do things that hurt people. We're gonna be assholes. Sorry, we are. Not because we're bad people, we're good people who do stupid ass shit sometimes. We're also good people who do magnificent things. I feel like the scariest people in the world to me are those who think that there's nothing wrong with them. I get really uncomfortable around people who think there's nothing wrong with them. Or that they're just good people, period. I'm just a good person, period. That makes me feel very uncomfortable to be around people like that. Because yes, you are a good person. And have you sat with your shadow? Are you willing to admit when you're wrong? Are you willing to look at your ugliest parts? Are you willing to feel safe in the discomfort of being human, which requires us to be in our bodies? A couple of podcasts that I really recommend is Maya Luna's Forbidden Fruit. Oh, it is such a good podcast. She really explains, like a poet and artist that she is, this coming into our body and how essential it is, and how most religions in the world teach us to come out of our body. But in fact, this opportunity of being human in these bodies is to be in this body, which means it comes with pain, discomfort. It comes with reactions to social constructs. It comes with gross parts. Like, I would love to not have to go to the bathroom every single day. It's gross. That's part of being human. I didn't choose it. I didn't sign up for that. Or like the BO that I get sometimes. I did not sign up for that. There's a lot of grossness that comes with being human. That's precious, and it is what it is. I didn't sign up for that, but that's part of being in this body. Just like I didn't pick that, or at least the way I see, and you might disagree, I didn't maybe pick this particular body that I'm in. Mother Nature sort of gifted me this. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like it in order to have reverence for it. I don't have to like how my BO smells in order to be like, wow, what a blessing that I'm here on earth experiencing BO. How freaking bizarre. Really? This is what I came to life to do? Interesting. Okay. And guess what? Having intense BO, which I've had since I was really young, made me obsessed with delicious smelling things like essential oils. I've loved essential oils since I was about 14 years old, and I still am obsessed with essential oils. I love things that smell good. I don't really like perfumes. I like more natural things. I love the kind of deodorants I buy. I love smelling like flowers and things that excite me. I also have a little affinity for my BO. Like, I don't like it, but I love it. This is part of the practice. How can we remember? How can we practice? And I feel like I know for sure for me, in order to practice embracing and loving my ugly, I must connect to something greater. I must connect to Mother Nature. I must connect to this deeper, juicy spirituality. I cannot just be this one little thing, this one little provable by science thing. I do love science. I do. And just like Western medicine, I love these things. It is one little teeny dot in this whole wild mystery of being human. So I get to practice connecting to something bigger to me, being of service, helping others, being good to people, being kind to every single customer service person that helps me, even when I'm feeling frustrated, being kind to people who cut me off on the road, being kind as much as I possibly can, and forgiving myself when I have shitty ass reactions and I hurt somebody, and I pause and I apologize and I move on, and we move on. I want to be a good person always. Not because I want to be rewarded though, but because that is what there is to do. And simultaneously, I am unafraid of my shitty ass parts. And I feel like when I really can sit with that duality, and really it's more than a duality, it's multidimensional. I feel like I don't know, there's a, like just when I was saying that, I started feeling this lightheaded, like, oh, like the angels are singing, and it just feels so wonderful to have my hands to my heart and my feet on the earth and be like, I'm a good person who also has a lot of darkness. And that doesn't make me bad. That actually is an opportunity to sit with that. And you know, some of the best benefits that have come from sitting with my dark parts are, I can't remember the last time I blamed someone for my pain or my frustration. Not because I want to like let anyone off the hook, or people, you know, there's plenty of people in America right now who I could blame, but instead of blaming, I want to be curious and learn how I can use that to alchemize into something, art, into healing in my own self that I can then gift to the collective. Instead of blaming for my pain and discomfort and, you know, barely being able to pay my bills like I have my entire adult life, how can I use that as curiosity and nourishment for my own journey here on earth? Even just saying that again, like the freedom from blame, because I'm someone who blamed people a lot up until only a handful of years ago. I blame mostly parents and partners and politicians and such as well, which again, please don't hear me like there's a lot of bad stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff. And instead of using my energy to blame, I want to alchemize that into something powerful. for this one little life of mine on earth. Because I do know that we're all interconnected. And the more that I heal and regulate that within my body, the more that I can become a beacon and a harbor of safety for other people. And I've experienced this in real time, so I know it works. I feel like so many of my beautiful fellow social justice warriors and people who really want to do good in the world are burning themselves out trying to do. And some people can do it. Some people absolutely have the energy for it. And then some of us can do this work. How can we continue to alchemize and regulate so that we can be almost like a battery, almost like, maybe not a battery, I don't know if that's a good metaphor, but I don't want to see us as someone's going to drain us, but instead of cultivating and using that to expand the love, expand the safety within dark times. I think that's it. The expanding of the safety within dark times within ourselves then emanates to other people. I know this might sound so far out there and you might be rolling your eyes, and I don't blame you. But this is absolute truth for me. I used to want to do and put my body out there and fight, and I'd use Facebook to say how I felt, and I don't do any of that anymore, barely ever. In fact, just yesterday, I deleted my Facebook profiles, my photography page, which has 150,000 followers on it, and my personal one too, that has like 10,000 plus. I deleted them both yesterday because Facebook is not a safe place for my nervous system right now. Maybe I'll come back. I might come back. But I had to delete that stuff for now. So right now I'm just on Instagram and here on the podcast with you. Because that's not it. That's not where, I don't think anything productive is happening on social media in terms of helping the world right now. I want to come in, and some people would be like, that's so selfish, that's ridiculous. That's fine if folks want to say that. I know there's deep beauty happening. The more I regulate in myself, the more I hold the ugliest parts of myself, the darkest parts of myself, the more I alchemize all those things and hold so gently, and I love myself no matter what. No matter I'm having an anxiety attack, no matter I'm having depression, which I did for like 3 days this last week, were some pretty dark days. Not like the old depression me, but there was some pretty good depression happening in the last 3 days. I came out of it today, which I'm so grateful for. Again, I've risen from the depression again. That's one of the ways too that I've learned how to surf these things without medication is I don't expect the depression to go away. If I did, I'd be really disappointed and really scared when it resurfaced. Instead, I know it's just something I get to surf with. Sometimes I'm better at it than others. It depends. But I surf it, and I always come out with some nugget. Now, I'm not saying you have to suffer depression in order to be a profound thinker. No, not saying that. But this is my particular life. I've struggled with depression, not struggled. I've existed, I've experienced depression since I was very young, probably around the time that the sexual abuse happened. I'm pretty sure it was probably around then. Now, I'm really flippin' proud how I've learned how to surf it. I'm proud that people used to tell me, well, you just have to choose how you feel. And that would make me feel really horrible. And I'd have to defend myself. And then I did medication for a while. And then, people have a lot of opinions about depression. That's fine. But what I know for sure from my personal journey is I don't like being on medication. That doesn't feel good. I don't want to be dependent on something like that. I also want to use it as an alchemy tool. I want to learn from it. Not because that's what I should do, but because I feel like that is exciting to do as an artist. I feel like that's part of my art. Part of my art is sitting with this shit and finding the glory in it. That's not what you should do. If you want to take medication, that is absolutely divine. You know what is best for you. But anyway, coming back. So I surfed those 3 days of depression this week. I'm feeling so much better today. And this is what there is. So, how do we love ourselves even when we don't like ourselves? The practice of radical acceptance of what is, while simultaneously holding the fact that we don't like it so we don't gaslight ourselves. This is so nuanced. I'm not even sure if I can explain it correctly, but I'm going to absolutely do my best. So, radical acceptance of what is, for example, me having this depression for the last 3 days. Okay, it is what it is. I'm surfing it. Now, I don't want to gaslight myself and be like, this is great. This is fine. I'm so grateful for my depression, because that's not true. I don't like it. I don't like it. I had to put off there's a lot that I wanted to do these last 3 days that I had to put off because I couldn't tend to it. I was down. I was blue. I was heavy. I was so tired. So radical acceptance for me is, okay, I honor that this is how I feel right now. And then my nervous system, she goes, okay, we're not about to die. We don't feel good, but we're not dying. That is feeling safe while feeling uncomfortable. And then to not gaslight myself and like, I'm so grateful for this. And instead, I can go to my journal, or I can record a voice note or speak out loud. I don't like this. It's really, really hard for me to feel this. It's so heavy. It's so uncomfortable. It's so unfair. Why do I have to freaking live with these little bouts of depression? Hate this. I hate this. This is usually how I would say that do this practice is in a journal, being very honest. I freaking hate this. I hate these days of depression. Just allow myself to be the toddler who's like, fuck this shit. I didn't ask for this. And so that's the purge. It's radical acceptance of what is. The purge, so we don't gaslight ourselves, because nobody likes feeling anxious or depressed. And then key part, some sort of embodiment practice. Maybe you need to dance. Maybe you need to do vigorous breath work with your mouth open. Or maybe you need to do a meditation with your breath, which could be an inhale for 4, and holding for 4, and then an exhale for 8, and do that for 10 minutes. But that is, for me anyway, such a loving kindness, radical practice. That is loving yourself while not always liking yourself. Radical acceptance. This is how I'm feeling. Okay. Because why? Yes, it tells our nervous system we're not dying. Second, purge. Not gaslight ourselves about this discomfort. Third, embodiment. Dance, breath work, go for a run, go for a swim, shake your whole body for 5 minutes. Move it through. Move it through. It might be different. Sometimes it might be something like dancing, and then another time it might be something like deep, long exhale breathing. Okay? Can you try this? Let me know how it is. I tell you, this is how I got off my high blood pressure medication. This is how I got off my antidepressants and my mood stabilizers, is by self-love. And it's so easy to say, oh, I just learned to love myself and that's why I got off all my medications. I could say that because that's the truth, but it's not that simple. It's not that simple. It's what I'm explaining here. Loving myself means sitting with the shit. Learning how to feel safe while sitting with the shit. Not gaslighting myself about how unfair it is that I have to sit with the shit. And then dance. Now, here's the thing. Doing this isn't a fix because, my loves, there's nothing to fix. I know that my surfing of depression is part of the mastery, part of the evolution, part of the beauty that I continue to get to expand and heal and learn from. I can't fix it, but I'm weaving this tapestry with it. And I feel like that's a lot of, it's a great it's a great marketing technique to sell you the fix, the diet, the exercise, the pills, the supplements, the clothes, all the things that will fix it. And well, what I know for sure is there's no fixing the conundrum of being human. There's no cure for being human. Being human is uncomfortable. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like these last 3 days that I was surfing some and I know too that I was instigated by working. I did a big photo shoot series last weekend, and I knew I was gonna be tired, so I was already kind of predicting it, which is kind of nice too. I can kind of predict this might be kind of a low week for me, and it was. But this morning, it rained all night last night here in the desert, and I woke up at 5 a.m. and I made my coffee, and I got my dog. He's the cutest little golden doodle. If you don't know, you need to see photos of my dog, Moon. His name is Moon. So I got my coffee, and I got Moon, and it was still dark out, and we went for a walk, and it felt like Costa Rica outside. It was so wet, and it was only like 68 degrees, which, oh my goodness, it's getting cooler in the desert. It's literally a miracle. And so I'm walking, and it's so quiet. There's bats flying, and I got my coffee, and I got my dog, and I could feel that today was a different day. I was like, oh, thank you. And I'm so proud. I kind of put a hand on my heart, and I was like, good job, girl, for surfing those last 3 days. Those were rough. And I still got shit done. I still got my son to school and back every day and fed, and I did work, and I still got stuff done. It just was it was like doing stuff in mud, like, oof, so heavy. But today, this morning on my walk, I was like, oh, there it is, okay. And I took some breaths, and it smelled like earth, and it smelled like we have these bushes, these creosote bushes here, and when it rains, it smells so delicious. And the sun was starting to come up, and the clouds were getting little hints of pink, and the mountains were green. They look very green right now, even though this is the desert. And I just was like, this is why. This is it. I surf the depression, and then I come out. Okay. I'm so grateful. I'm so proud. I did it again. And not only did it again, but did it in a way that was very regulating. I didn't get dysregulated. I wasn't afraid. I was like, oh, this time, no. I was like, okay, maybe tomorrow will be. The last 3 days, every day, I was like, okay, well, maybe tomorrow will be better. And then I would wake up like, no, not today. But today I woke up and I was like, yes, it is today. Today is the day I feel better. And again, I want to be really mindful actually when I say better, because that implies that was worse. No, it's just uncomfortable. That's more uncomfortable than this is. This is light, and I can actually see the beauty so easily. And I feel like it's not like walking in mud. It's just walking in a gentle breeze now. And I have energy, which I'm so grateful for. But I don't hold it tightly, because tomorrow's another day and it might be different tomorrow. But today, I'm so grateful for today. And I will be grateful for tomorrow no matter how I feel, because I love myself even when I don't like some things, like how I feel, or how I look in the mirror, or how clothes might fit, I still am with myself and I love myself. What does that mean? That means I continue to practice staying regulated no matter what the day brings. Another practice of self-love is constant. If you're like me, a recovering perfectionist, we tend to be worriers. We worry. We worry about stuff that is out of our control. And we worry about stuff that we don't even know is going to happen. And constantly putting ourselves back in check with our worry and our guilt and our embarrassment. Actually, honey, baby girl, this is how I would speak to myself. Do I need to worry right now? Do I know this to be true, or can I release this worry? Yes, actually, I'm not sure this is accurate, so I'm going to release this worry. And the last little nugget I desire to leave you with today is something I talked about a few episodes ago about reparenting. We can call it reparenting when we go back to certain moments when we're younger. We can also call it remothering or refathering, whatever you want to call it. Just going back and rewriting the thing that was really hard for us. And loving, compassionate, who understands what we need now, us, adult us, goes back in those moments. It's so precious. But also, I find I need to parent myself almost daily. And I feel like that's kind of what all this stuff is. I think loving ourselves even when we don't like ourselves is basically parenting ourselves. I think it's the same thing. Because I know for sure I don't always like my son, but I will never not love him fiercely. And so what that looks like for me, and I guess we could also call it parenting our inner child, if that's helpful. But to me, it's kind of like speaking to myself like I would speak to a little child. Oh, honey, of course you're sad today. Of course you feel depressed. I'm sorry. I know you don't like it. I'm so sorry. I'm proud of you for persevering. And tomorrow is a new day, and maybe we'll feel better, maybe we won't. But what we do know for sure is this always passes. How long before it passes? Well, we don't know that, but we do know it will. And I'm sorry you feel this way. What can we do right now? Anything I can do to help you right now? You need a rest? It's okay to rest. Yes, you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to do nothing. It's okay. You're allowed to be lazy. It's okay, honey. You can rest. It's okay. Would you like something to drink? And I like to put my hand to my heart and kind of rub circles right on my solar plexus. Also, what I really love doing sometimes is putting both of my hands, and I'm doing it right now, and holding my face. Just holding our face. Oh, precious girl. Well done. Good job. Like after the photo shoots I did this last weekend, which were a lot for me in my current state, in my current season of working very little, it was a big push, which I was grateful for. I loved every single client that came. It was absolutely divine. And I'm really proud. Make such gorgeous photos. We made such gorgeous photos. And it showed me too that, yeah, I want to do more photography. I think I'm getting ready to do more photography. But after I was done, after my last client on Sunday evening, she left, and I put my hands to my face, and I was like, good job, girl. Good job. You did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you. We made good money, and we made beautiful art, and we got to spend some time with really, really incredible people. Well done, honey. Well done. And also, I worked extra hard because I'm saving up because I have a double hernia surgery coming up. So I'm working because I'm going to have to take quite a few weeks off from doing massage and doing basically anything so I can fully heal. I've had these hernias for a really long time. So I'm so excited to get these patched up, and I want to heal fully so I can be fully back. But my point is, How can we parent our precious little inner child, or just today? Like, I like to think, even last year, I feel like such a parent to myself from last year. Like, this year I feel so much older than I do last year, and I have so much compassion for her. I have so much compassion for 15 years ago me, who was I barely recognize the things I used to write 15 years ago. Like, I was such a different person, and I love her. I love her. I also have a lot of self-compassion for the really crappy parts of myself. Like, I had a partner that the breakup was pretty bad, and I blamed him for basically all of it, and I took no accountability from my toxic ass ways, and I blamed him. And it was kind of unfair, and I really regret having done that, because yes, he did hurt me, but at the end of the day, that's his journey. And I really don't want to call anyone a narcissist, and I did. I think I called him to many people a narcissist, and I regret that. It's like, I feel like those are casting spells. I don't want to cast no spells on everyone, and anyone. And anyone I know, anyway. On anyone, though. No, on anyone. I don't want to cast spells, period. And so I do go back and reparent those parts of me that cast those ugly spells, and called that man that was my former lover narcissist, and like, yeah, we didn't sync. He was not able to provide what I needed. Also, I was not able to provide what he needed. And yes, he did hurt me, but also I let him, and I hurt him. I absolutely hurt him. I did some horrible ass shit. And so that goes back to that blaming. But what I was trying to explain here, the freedom from blaming people. What I was trying to explain here is going back and reparenting even those kind of versions of like, oh, girl, oof, I really wish I hadn't called him a narcissist to so many people. And it's all right. You're allowed to make mistakes. I definitely learned from that, which I'm very proud of. Would never do that again. I'm so sorry. I've apologized to the person, even though I don't know if they got the email or if they even care, but I have apologized, which I'm also grateful for, proud of. Because no matter what, I don't want to bring extra harm to anybody. And I fail at that. I fail all the time. Until I realize that I've done it. I apologize. I do what I can to repair. I dig my feet deeper into the earth and I say, let's bring more awareness, because I don't want to hurt anybody. I desire to be more mindful. Will I fail at that? I absolutely will. I can guarantee you, because if there's one thing I know is that I make tons of mistakes. But I love myself so much. It's okay to make the mistakes, because I also it's not that I love myself so much I'm just let myself off the hook. No. To me, self-love is holding myself accountable as well when it needs to be done. And one of my values, even though I'm not perfect at it and I don't desire perfection, I hurt people sometimes. So what can I do to reverse that hurt? To apologize and to do better. That is self-love. It's holding those ugly parts of me. Maybe I have to cry. Maybe I have to feel like it's not fair. Like, even just talking about this makes me cry. It's like, holding those parts is so brave of us. Apologizing for being assholes is so beautiful. Loving ourselves through all of it is magnificent. Self-love is not a free pass to just be jerks. Self-love is, I love myself and I hold the darkest, ugliest parts of myself. Therefore, I continue to be unafraid when those dark parts come up and I look at it, maybe not right away, And as Nicole Sack says, we're not responsible for our first reaction because it's an impulse, our body's natural reaction, but we are responsible for our second reaction. Wait a minute. I didn't mean it like that. And one thing I've learned as a deeply feeling human who likes to process verbally with people that I love is that it doesn't really work for most people. I want to talk like this. Okay, I'll give a more specific example is like with my husband. He's a Pisces, I'm a Cancer. We're both water people. We're both deeply feeling people. But he's kind of more quiet, and I want to talk about all the things. I'm like, well, when you did this, I felt this, blah, blah, blah. I've learned that doesn't work. I want to say all the things to him, but it doesn't work. It actually makes him feel worse, and we don't get anywhere. And I want to be able to say those things. So where do I say those? In my journal. And this has been a really cool practice that I'm still in practice of, but not saying all the things to him and instead saying things to my journal. Because I want to protect his peace as well. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I would love to be able just to do it the way I like, which is to talk and find solutions and talk endlessly about things that don't feel good or how to find a solution. But that's not how it works for everyone. Some people don't want to do that. My husband is one of them. So instead of being like, oh, why can't he just? It's like, oh, I see. This doesn't work for him. Okay. Well, I still want to do this thing, so where can I do it in a way that hurts no one, that still validates my desire to process these things? How can I honor someone and still honor myself and pivot? These are all the practices, this and thousands of more, my loves, and I would love to hear your practices of how we love ourselves, even when we don't like ourselves. Thank you for continuing to practice this gentleness. We need it more than ever, my loves. How can we love the deepest, darkest, most painful parts? How can we love our illness? How can we love the things that we're embarrassed that we have done? How can we love the shameful things that we have done? How can we love the ugly parts that it was so scary to look at? Because let me assure you, ugly is merely the other side of the coin of beautiful. And this is what I know for sure, and Mother Nature wants you to know as well. You are beautiful. You are a treasure to be protected. That body, although it might be a painful place to be, is also a very sacred place to be. And so thank you for learning how to feel safe in the discomfort. Oh, I'm sending so much love. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
I met an old man. I said, tell me your story. He took out a notepad and wrote something for me.
Hey, are you still here? Well, I'm going to humbly ask if you wouldn't mind liking this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or sharing it with someone that you think might like it. I would be so grateful. I don't make any money doing this podcast. I do this from the love of my heart, and I want it to reach as many people as possible. That it feels very inspiring to me. So thank you for helping me do that. Thank you.
When you grow up, you'll be fine. I know you've got questions on your mind. Life is gonna happen one way or the other, whether you like it or not. Stop looking for the answers and you'll find wide and open. I wrote in my story. Then I kept walking on down the road. When your time is up, it's time to go. I pray he reads what's on the note and takes to heart what I wrote. I said, son, when you grow up, you'll be fine. I know you've got questions on your mind. Life is gonna happen one way or the other, whether you like it or not. Stop looking for the answers, and you'll find what you've got. When you grow up, you'll be fine. I know you've got questions on your mind. Life is gonna happen one way or the other, whether you like it or not. Stop looking for the answers, and you'll find what you've got.